everyone. Today I want to talk about the benefits of minimalism because I personally am always looking for more content of people just discussing the principles of minimalism and the positive aspects and effects of minimalism. And so I figured, why don't I just add another video into the universe about this topic and just kind of make it a little bit chatty and discussing how moving toward minimalism has affected my life. And I also want to add that I'm somebody that's still in the process. I definitely don't consider myself a full minimalist yet because I still have a long ways to go, but I've already seen some hugely positive impacts it's had on my life. And so I just want to spend a little bit of time processing some of those positive effects. Hi, if we haven't met before, I'm Aylin, and this is my channel Slice of Light, where I talk about simple living, building an empowering mindset, and photography and videography. If any of those topics interest you, please hit the subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate it. And if you end up liking this video, hit the thumbs up button below. I gotta say, perhaps the most important and central benefit of minimalism is that it allows you to put energy and time into things in your life that you value. And I know you've probably heard this one a million times before, but I think it's really meaningful. I always say that time is actually the most precious commodity because, time, you never know when you're going to run out of it. And to me, life is really about choosing how you spend that precious time that you have here on this earth. Minimalism is about living more intentionally. It's about not putting as much energy into belongings that are superficial and that don't really actually give you meaning or purpose in your life, and placing more energy and time into things that you care about. It also has a real impact on finances. Maybe moving toward minimalism allows you to retire earlier in your life, or allows you to pursue a career that you love but might not pay quite as well. Being more intentional about how you spend your money and your time can have rippling effects on how you actually spend the rest of your life. Beyond these big picture effects on life and meaning and that sort of thing, though, I think there are some immediate effects that you start to see as soon as you start to do real declutters. And I want to speak a little bit to those more minor benefits that really can impact your mood on a day-to-day basis. So one of the first things that I think has really been transformed for me, even in this initial phase of moving toward minimalism, is that I don't hate cleaning. I don't know if I'd ever thought I'd say that. I have historically always been someone who just puts off cleaning to the last possible minute till I'm having a guest come over, and things tend to just pile up. And I would always dread cleaning. Like, I didn't enjoy the process. I didn't enjoy the payoff because it was always so much effort to clean my space. But I've noticed that cleaning is not so much of a burden for me anymore, and dare I say it, it's started to become actually fun, or at least enjoyable. And I think the reason for that is that I actually see the payoff of the amount of work that I do much more quickly. When I have fewer belongings, say in my kitchen, the same amount of time that I spend towards cleaning has a bigger impact on how my kitchen looks, simply because I have fewer things to clean and put away. As a result, I'm getting positive reinforcement more quickly for the work that I do. It's less of a burden and more of a payoff more quickly. And so I can feel that sense of accomplishment after I clean much more quickly. And then as I start to feel more frequently that sense of accomplishment due to cleaning, I'm not as apt to dread it quite as much. And then as I start to clean, I actually find that I even enjoy some of the process. That if I think of it as sort of a mindfulness exercise to be really present with the task at hand and just kind of experience the moment, it's actually almost kind of like a meditative, soothing thing. I never thought I would ever say that in a million years, but I actually am starting to enjoy it a little bit. Also, if I want to distract myself or I'm kind of tired of it, I'll put on a podcast while I clean, and it actually makes it a fun activity. So something I've started to do is embed cleaning into my morning ritual. I clean in the morning for about 30 or 40 minutes, which again, like, this doesn't sound like the typical me. I had never really done that in the morning in the past. I would leave it till later in the day or the next day. But I do it every morning for 30 to 40 minutes. And it's become something that I actually kind of look forward to because I throw on a podcast and I just clean for 30 to 40 minutes. And it's like my time to do something, to accomplish something, evening and to listen to something fun. That way, then the night before a workday, I actually don't dread the next workday as much because I'm like, oh, well, when I first get up in the morning, I'll have 30 to 40 minutes of me time. And yes, I'll clean during that. But then as I clean, my space will become less stressful and more enjoyable, and I'll feel a sense of accomplishment. So it's just this kind of like positive loop where the more I clean, the more accomplishment I feel, the more I enjoy cleaning. I find ways that I can enjoy cleaning even more. And it just keeps kind of like building off of itself to the point where I actually enjoy cleaning now. I also think that as I declutter and I have fewer belongings, it's easier to find things because as I declutter more and more, everything starts to have its own home. Like all my items have a place where they go. And it's also easy to put those items where they go. Like instead of having a super jam-packed closet or, a mug shelf where like I'm piling mugs on top of each other and they're about to fall and it's stressful. It's like easier to put things away and they're also easier to find so that I'm actually saving, again, time finding belongings around my home. I've also started noticing as I declutter, I've enjoyed the belongings I already have more and more. As I reduce my spending and my shopping, I'm enjoying the belongings I already have. And that's a really good feeling because then I'm really getting the true value of those belongings that I've purchased in the past. I'm also able to purchase items that are better quality because sometimes I'm kind of saving up for an object and then I get the one that I want rather than like the knockoff or the less good version. I'm actually getting really high quality belongings. And so again, I start to enjoy them more. I think in the long run, living more intentionally and just trying to have fewer belongings and only the belongings that I really need or care about will allow me to be closer to that ideal self. Now, I do think we all have this like ideal self that in some ways can be detrimental to us and that maybe we'll never get to that exact ideal self. But I have always kind of dreamed of being one of those people that just like is put together. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those people that just seem to have everything together. And while I don't think I'll ever have everything together, I definitely think that as I've decluttered, it's just easier to like put things in their place and not feel as overwhelmed or stressed out. Like I just feel like things are more calm and level and I actually am more organized, even though I don't naturally take to organization. And I'm genuinely becoming more like that ideal self, that person who is organized and put together and kind of has things under control. I want to add the caveat that I don't think any of us always has everything under control. Life is hectic, stressful, we can't control the world around us. But I definitely think that just setting ourselves up for success by having less, by being organized, by knowing where things are, we're likely to feel less stressed when those stressors do come up. I definitely grew up in the 90s where I think there was a value placed on belongings and accumulating. Like that was more of a trend. And I realized I definitely built up some of those habits from the culture that I grew up in. But I've realized that this new approach that I think is definitely a wider trend in our community has had a huge impact on just being able to focus on the things that matter more to me and have my base level amount of stress far lower. I also think on an aesthetic level, I honestly think my home is starting to look better and better as I declutter. And I just think I'm getting more and more motivated to declutter. So again, like I was talking about with the cleaning, decluttering becomes increasingly fun as I do it because I get to see the payoff. I also realized that at least at this point in my life, I think I want to live close into the city. And I kind of worry that if I don't get my belongings under control, I'll be forced to, as I go through life and hopefully one day have kids, I'll be forced to move out further and further into the suburbs. Now, maybe later on we'll decide we want to do that anyway, but I think we like being in the city. We like being able to walk to restaurants and to kind of more easily go to concerts or museums or that sort of thing. And so I do think that if I can get my belongings under control, it's just way more likely that when we buy a home, we're going to be able to buy a home that's in the city and have the actual life that we want to have rather than sacrificing that just because of our stuff. Like, isn't that a crazy thought that so many of us let our stuff determine where we live and what our lifestyle looks like? I think I want to break out of that. I also think that minimalism has already opened up my life to a lot more possibilities. It's allowed me to put more time and energy and thought into new kind of avenues of life. Like even this YouTube channel has been a fun hobby for me, and I don't think I would have done it if I didn't have this kind of like extra space and energy in my life that I have to give now because I've been doing decluttering and I'm moving toward minimalism. So I'm definitely still learning a lot about minimalism. I still have too much stuff, but as I declutter, I'm already noticing these positive effects, and it feels so good. So if you're somebody that's on the fence or you're just starting out, just be reminded that there really are positive effects of minimalism that happen actually quite quickly. So those are some of the first things that come to mind when I think about minimalism, but I would love to hear what you guys think some of the benefits of minimalism are in the comments below. If you ended up liking this video, please hit the thumbs up button. It would really help, and hit the subscribe button below to see more videos. You can hit the bell alert button if you want to be alerted when new videos come up. And I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.